All right, we have Donna here to help us plan the perfect Plexus day. So I'm going to go ahead and let her take it away.
Okay, well, thank you. Word of advice, if you have a great idea for something that Jamie and Kim should do for this Sunday night Zoom meeting, you might just want to keep it to yourself. Otherwise, you're going to end up being the one on here presenting. Because that's what happened to me a few weeks ago. That's okay. I can do this. A while back, Jamie shared with us Sonya, Dudley, and Helen McFadden's What to Say When You Talk to Yourself training series. It's 7 weeks. They're going through that book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And at the end of the first week, they are giving their assignments before the next week. And one of the things that they go through is having a perfect Plexus day. And they challenged their team to have 3 perfect Plexus days in that week. I think they're ultimately building up to a full week. I don't think I got through the 7 weeks of it. I liked how they described working a perfect Plexus day. So I'm going to go to share screen here and get my PowerPoint. There it is. Okay. All right. So they're saying if you're working Plexus to build a business and you're really trying to build it into, a real income. Of course, we know that you can work it 15 minutes a day, an hour a day. If you're consistent, that's good. As long as you're consistent, you're doing something, you'll have some growth. But if you want to have real growth, they have this DMO that they recommend, and you've probably heard it from other people. It's a commonly used DMO, but it breaks down to 2.5 hours a day. So if you have 2.5 hours that you can work, even if it's not every day that week, if it's 2 or 3 days that week that you can get through the whole thing, that's great. If you're at home all the time and you can do 5 hours, that's even better. So you would just double everything that they recommend. But this is breaking it down into 2.5 hours. You don't have to do, except for the very first things. It doesn't necessarily have to be in this order that is presented. It's just these are the things you want to get into your day. And they might be chunked up. Like maybe you might not do this 30 minutes altogether. But in the end, you want to have 30 minutes of that part of it. Overall, it's going to break into 2.5 hours. And we're going to start with, as soon as you wake up in the morning, attitude of gratitude and your affirmations. So that's, so that's waking up with the thought, not going, oh, I have to get to work and do that Plexus stuff again. Okay, so it's waking up with the thought that you don't have to share Plexus, you get to share Plexus. And thanking God for that He brought this into your life, that you have this opportunity, that this is something that you can use to help supplement your family income. But it's a blessing. So thanking God for the blessing that He's brought you in Plexus and for the chance you have to bless others with the products and with the opportunity. And then you're going to go right into, I'm waking up with this great feeling. And they don't have prayer and Bible study in the schedule. Of course, that's something you want to have as part of your regular day, not necessarily related to your Plexus time, but that should be part of your every day. I hope we're all doing that. Then they say to take your affirmations, which I hope that you've all written your affirmations. I know that's always included in any challenge that we do, to write out affirmations. So those should be posted somewhere where you can see them often, and we need to use them. I know I'm really bad about writing them and putting somewhere and looking at them every now and then and not using them every single day. But as part of your perfect Plexus day, and to kind of change the programming of your mind, because we all have these negative things that we've heard about ourselves, that we say to ourselves, that we've kind of grown up with, that hold us back and keep us from being the best that we can be, and keep us from being as effective as we can be, and make us afraid to step out. So we need to replace those thoughts. So you say your affirmations to yourself for 2 minutes. Repeat for the full 2 minutes. So say you have 5 affirmations, just say them over and over for 2 minutes. And you're going to do that 5 times through the course of your day. And so that gives you your first 10 minutes of your perfect Plexus day. So how do you write a good affirmation? You want to word it in the positive. So that means, Sonya Dudley said, your subconscious can't process the negative words. Then it will just kind of cut them out. So if you say something like, I will not be afraid to talk about Plexus today, it's chopping out the not. And so what you're saying to yourself that your subconscious is retaining is, I will be afraid to share Plexus today. So you want to word it in the positive and say something like, I will speak out boldly when I have the chance to talk about Plexus. So just reword it without any negative words in there at all. You want affirmations that kind of counteract the fears that are holding you back. If talking to strangers is a fear that you have, say, I have a message that people are eager to hear and my words are appealing, something like that. And so take whatever your challenge is and rewrite it as if you've already overcome it and say that to yourself. Also, another one you can do is to visualize your goal already having happened and already being achieved. Like, I love driving around in this Lexus. It is such a sweet ride. Or I love sitting on the beach and hearing the waves in Kona. Just picture yourself there as if it's already happened. Another thing you can put in your affirmation, of course, are biblical promises, because these are truth and you need to fill your head with truth. So you know that you have value. Let's see, what are some that I've used, because I just went totally blank. I am blessed to be a blessing. That's a great one. I can reach my goals and dreams. With God, all things are possible. So take something that's a promise from the Bible that you know is true and write that and say it about yourself instead of all the lies maybe that you've had in your head before. Okay. Your actions follow your thoughts. So if you spend this time reprogramming your thoughts, then when you have the opportunity to act on those, you'll act boldly and with confidence. And even, you may not realize that it's changing the way you're thinking until it happens. So you just step up and talk to someone and you didn't even know that you were going to do that. So it really has an impact on how you act. Okay. All right. The next part of your day is 30 minutes spent on social media. I know that we all spend probably more than 30 minutes on social media, and this is one of those weapons of mass distraction that we always hear about. I know it is hard for me to not get pulled into it. So these are 30 minutes. If you have to think about, this is your job, you are at work, you are clocked in, part of your daily agenda or checklist and tasks that you need to get done is 30 minutes on social media in effective, productive time. So purposeful income producing activity. So that is posting on your team page if you've got one for your team. That's challenges for them, encouragement for them, updates on anything that's going on. Wish happy birthday to anyone that has a birthday, because that gets you engaged with them and brings you into their newsfeed, so they're more likely to see your Plexus post. Go look at the testimonial page if there's someone that you're wanting to reach out to and you want to find a testimonial for them. Posting your own Plexus post on your personal page. That should be ideally personal, about how you use the products, how the products affect your life. Engaging, it can be funny, it can be a picture of your kids that's cute, or you using the product, and from the heart, especially if it's really made an impact on you, those are great. Those tearjerker posts, those are amazing. Check your messages real quick if you've got anything urgent from a customer that needs help getting their order through, of course, or a prospect who's ready to sign up. These you want to attend to as soon as they come through, because that's your business. That's where your money is coming from customers and prospects ordering from your site and joining you. Engage, maybe change your news feed so you're seeing your non-Plexus contacts and what they're saying. Look for someone that doesn't usually show up in your newsfeed and engage with them by commenting on one of their posts. Maybe send out some new friend requests. Try to send out 5 or 10 new friend requests every day to constantly build your contacts and broaden how many people are seeing your post. Okay. All right. So that took 30 minutes. So we've used 40 minutes up of your Plexus day. Now you're going to do your DMO of either 3-2-1 or 5-3-1. If you're really shooting to get to leaders retreat, to get people on your team, to reach those PV goals, I do the 5-3-1. And if you're home more than 2.5 hours that you can work on Plexus, go ahead and double that to 10-6-2. So this breaks down into 3 or 5 new contacts with new people about Plexus. So the recommendation from Sonya and Helen was ideally to get out in the community and you're actually meeting new people in your community that maybe you didn't know before. And this can be while you're in line somewhere, while you're just shopping. In line is a great place because people are always talking in line. This is really natural. This to me is way easier than talking to people that I know and have a relationship with. This one I can do much easier. This was so easy in Vegas. Everywhere we went with our lanyards on as a group of Plexus people, we were just drawing people in. They were walking over to us and asking, what is Plexus and what's going on with you guys? People were hungry for Plexus in Vegas. A lot of people looking for their plan B. Let's say you're at Walmart and you're in line. For me, it's very natural at the grocery store or Walmart. If somebody's standing there behind me and they're like, oh, I forgot to get black beans. I wonder where they are. I'm going to turn around and tell them where they are because I know the answer. And it's always driven my kids crazy. If I hear somebody in line talking about something and they need help and I know the answer, I'm just going to jump right up and say it. So walk around with your ears open and listen for those openings that are Plexus related. If they're there in line and they're saying, I wish they would hurry up. My head is pounding. I've got another headache. I hardly slept last night. Okay, you've got an answer for that. You can turn around and say, oh, I'm sorry, I heard about your headache. Let me tell you, I used to have headaches, or my friend used to have headaches like that until I introduced them to Plexus or until I started taking Plexus. Have you ever heard of Plexus? They're amazing products. They made all the different, it gives you that opening. As you're out and about, you want to be sure that you are prepared for sharing. You want to have your business card with you. You want to have your brochures with you. Have single packets of Slim that you can give out or 3-day trials that you can sell. And those other samples, the body cream and the ease. If they're talking about, oh, my aching back or my legs are so sore, you've got those right there. And you've got to practice and get really good at this. I'm just getting to this point of getting their information back. You give them your card, they've got your information. But once they walk away from you, you have no way to follow up and, see how they liked it or make sure that they actually took it unless you get their number too. So a great and easy way to do that is say, hey, are you on Facebook? I'm on Facebook. If you follow me or if you let me friend me, then you'll see the posts that I make about Plexus. You'll know when we have specials going on. I'm always posting different information. You can find out lots of information that way. So you can just hand them your phone and say, here, find yourself on Plexus. And then you've got their name there and you can send them a friend request. Or better yet, take their phone and say, hey, you got Facebook? Let me see your phone. Put your name in and send yourself a friend request from their phone. And then you've got it. So that's that way you can follow up in a few days and say, hey, I'm the one that met you at the store. Wondering how you're doing. How are your headaches? Did you like that sample? Would you like more information? Invite them to events coming up. So that brings us down into the next step, which is following up with people that you've given out trials to, people that you've given samples to. If you've mailed out a sample to your friends, and you've sent out single samples to lots of people, you've got to follow up with them in a few days after they've had a chance to try it and ask them how they liked it. And then, a lot of times they'll say, oh, I didn't like the taste. And then you can address that and say, oh, a lot of people feel that way the first time, and then tell them about all the different ways that they can adjust the taste. But if you don't write back or call back to them and you're just waiting for them to call you back, then they didn't like the taste and they're never going to call you again. They're done with it. So you get to address those issues. Maybe they had detox. Maybe it was a 7-day and they got into detox, and you get to talk about that. But you have to follow up. They say the fortune is in the follow-up. Follow up with your customers that, like once a month, check in with them before it's time for their next ship date. See if they're having any problems. Make sure they're taking their products. Maybe they've stopped because they couldn't work out a routine. So maybe they had some kind of issue that you can help with if you know about. So follow up with your current customers each month. Follow up maybe with somebody that has canceled and not come back for a couple months. Let them know about new specials. So 2 or 3 of those a day. You don't have to do everybody in one day. But there are some days that you may want to do that, like follow up Friday. You may want to just follow up with everyone. But if you're keeping it to your 2.5 hours, do 2 or 3 a day. And then the one on both of them is training either yourself or ideally one of your new ambassadors, one of your level ones. So that can be talking about posting ideas, how to deal with objections, comp plan, how to train their new ambassadors, all these things. Just kind of take turns, work your way through, touch base with them, and see what help they're needing from you today. Okay, I already went over this. Great. Okay, follow-ups also, and until they've told you no, I don't want it, please stop messaging me. And I've got some of those. They finally say, please stop asking me about Plexus. I'm not interested. But until they say that, the door is still open. If it's open a little bit, it's wide open. So just check in with them monthly. And usually we have some sort of online event at least once a month. Let them know we've got this coming up, or we've got free shipping, or we got this deal. That's a good way to follow up. You've signed a new customer. You want to, of course, send them out the welcome email as soon as they join or as soon as they purchase. And then follow up in the first week after they've gotten their products, see how it's going. With your new wholesale ambassadors that are not interested in the business, treat them just like you do your regular customers, making sure that they're doing okay with the product, because you want them to have product success. If they don't have product success, they're not going to keep purchasing and getting that 100 PV. But also, they're probably your friend, someone you care about, and customer care is very important. And check in with any ambassadors, or these are just people that you could follow up in that 2 part of it. Anybody who's dropped out or maybe hasn't ordered for a long time. A lot of times they just drop out because they've had a buildup of product. So you can coach them through being consistent and using that up and jumping back on. Okay. And of course, anybody who's shown an interest in the opportunity, you want to touch base with them. Let me go back to this actually. In Eric Worre's book, he's got a great chapter on following up. And he says that every time that you make a new contact with that person, your goal is to set the appointment for the next contact. So you always end it with, I'll check back with you in a week, or I'm going to send this to you. And when can you watch it? Great, I'll check with you after that. So every time you're kind of moving them along, the goal of each contact is to move them to the next contact and keep that conversation open, them closer and closer to making a decision. We've done that already. Okay, then you have 20 minutes connecting with your team. Somebody's not muted. We're getting on the recording, just so you know. Okay. The time you spend connecting with your team depends, of course, on the size of your team. If you don't have a team yet, I imagine everybody in here has some sort of size team. But if you have a larger team, you might need more than 20 minutes. This is like those team chats you have going on, maybe your IPA chats, your challenge groups, connecting with your sideline power partners, connecting with your upline for tips, letting them know how things are going with you, accountability partners you have, responding to any questions, and tying up any loose ends. All right, this is a big one, personal development. And it's taken me a while to realize the importance of this step. I love to read, and I love to train and learn skills. And that's what I thought for the longest time personal development meant. Reading Eric Worre, learning how to work the business, rock your network marketing business. Those are great books, but those are training. They're not personal development, and they're not growth. And, so you do need to do those. They can fall into your train one person, train yourself, or do them. But this is personal growth. This is growing you as a person in ways that will affect every aspect of your life, not just your Plexus business. It's getting the garbage cleaned out of your mind and your history. You're training your thoughts and becoming the person you most want on your team. You know, if you think about who would be my ideal team member and the traits that they have, well, you need to build those in yourself. I can't remember her name right now, but there was a diamond at convention who recommended to everyone when she was doing her speech, go get therapy. If you've not had counseling yet, you need to go get counseling, because we all have something from our past that's contributing to the fears that we have, our lack of belief in ourselves, our lack of confidence, staying inside our comfort zone and not wanting to step out of that. So personal development is helping you address those, retraining your thoughts, becoming more confident, becoming who you are meant to be. Fulfillment is what we used to call it in psychology. And this separates those who are successful for the long term from those who get stuck and they get to as far as they can go. And it's because they've reached a block, like a mental block. So those, all of the diamonds, I guarantee you, emeralds above, probably rubies above, they are definitely doing personal development. I think it's just 100% necessary. So right now I'm going through the self-talk, soul talk, which is similar to what to say when you talk to yourself, and just countering all those negative talks. Here we go. Great books for personal growth. And I know there's a huge long list, and we have those on all of the big team pages. And of course, all of the Eric Worre books, John Maxwell, that's leadership. That should be here too, because leadership is not specific to the network marketing. But what to say when you talk to yourself, self-talk, soul talk, 7 habits of highly effective people, how to win friends and influence people. There are so many. If you need more ideas, you can talk to your upline, and I'm sure they have lots of wonderful ideas. So you want to spend 30 minutes a day reading, or it could be listening to an inspirational video on YouTube, if that's easier for you, or an audiobook. Les Brown is amazing. He's great. I love all of his stuff too. It doesn't have to be 30 solid minutes. Maybe you do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes over lunch, 10 minutes later, but get your 30 minutes in. Okay. I don't know how fast I rattled through that. I think that was fast. But I like this quote that we heard in our training session at convention, that my team growth is affected by my willingness or my unwillingness to grow personally. Okay, I'm going to take this off of screen share and see if we have any comments or questions. Anybody?
I want to add that not only did you do great, Donna, getting out of your comfort zone tonight, but the follow-up that you said, how the door is still open unless they tell you, like, no, stop talking to me, how true that is, because I've lost people because I thought they told me no. They didn't. It was just, they weren't at that exact time ready, and I stopped following up with them, and many of them are on other people's teams now because I in the beginning just assumed, oh well, you're not saying yes, so that must mean no. And you are so right that unless they tell you no, it's still a yes.
Yes. I heard Ame Darling, she was going over the perfect Plexus day also. And she said that 20%, there are 3 people fall into one of 3 groups. 20% that are never, ever, ever going to use the products, and they're just going to be nasty and negative about it, and don't waste your time on them. And 20% that are walking around just waiting for someone to offer them something. They're eager and they're going to jump right on, and this is what they're praying for, and they're going to do it right away. And then the rest are maybe not ready yet, or they don't
Mm-hmm.
need it yet, but
Mm-hmm.
you're going to keep posting for them. They're going to keep watching you for a year, 2 years, and then they may get to where they need it or they're ready for it. And of course, you don't know where they fall. So you can't look at someone and judge and say, oh, you're one of those people. You've got to tell it to everyone. And then, so if you tell it to enough people, you'll end up with enough of that 20% eventually. I like that.
Does anybody else have any questions for Donna or comments?
That's not as hard.
I was going to say, I think that's great. Great information.
Thank you. I know a lot of it's things that we already have heard over and over and over, but putting it into consistent practice is where we kind of fall back sometimes.
That is the key, consistency. We can do it for a week, we can do it, for a little while, but as long as we are consistent, it will impact your own business as well as your team's business if your team is also doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like another quote that, let me see if I can find it, that Alme said, basically she said, it doesn't matter what you say. Oh, here it is. You can say anything when you're talking to people or posting, as long as you're enthusiastic and have heart.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you're consistent and you don't quit. So you don't have to worry about saying it exactly right. Just say it with your own enthusiasm and your own passion and be real with people.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Thank you everyone for coming.